Okay, well, it looked first like you were trying to do something.
No. Okay, so you've all sent me emails with your games. I've sent you back emails about which game you'll be presenting on. Almost all of you got your first choices. Yeah, I should not have been so worried about people all picking the same game. You all have different tastes. And even among the 3 games you sent, there was very little overlap. So that was cool. I have tons of new games to try to go play. This is really nice. So, but I look forward to those. You got the second email from me about what I'm expecting. Do you have any questions? I posted it here on the website in case you lose your email. It is here. Any questions about what's going to happen next Thursday? What I'm looking for from you. Things are clear. Okay. This is that rubric. Don't forget to look that over. This is how I will be grading that presentation, which is worth 5% of your grade. Okay. Practice, practice, rehearse. Follow these steps that people have. Oh, I need to fix that up. There are 2 links here. But there's another one I found just the other day about great advice for making up the cha-cha-cha presentation and making note cards, laying it out, figuring out what is the story that you want to tell. What is the thing that you're trying to convince us of? You have a compelling topic, I think. You picked the game that you would want everyone to play. It should be compelling to you. Make that compelling to everybody else. Was there a question? Yeah.
So should we try and convince people more that, like, this is a really great game and that's why you should play it? Or should we convince people, like, this really will help you learn something, so that's why you should...
So not just this is the most awesome game ever. Your presentation should be a little bit more focused on this is a game that we need to all play to make sure we all have the right background of game knowledge. That was the insight that I was trying to use to pick these 11 games that you played first. From different perspectives, you might say, hey, this one did not, these 11 games that you picked didn't cover this topic. This is a very necessary topic that we all need to think about as developers. We need to know how to make these types of games. So that would be a good narrowing of your focus beyond just this is the best game ever. But you're trying to convince the rest of the class because everyone will be voting then at the end, which game should we add to the canon? Okay, any other questions? I'm looking forward to these. I need you to make them in Google Documents. I need you to share it with me by 5 p.m. the Wednesday before. You can still update it, but I need that link so that I can organize our page so that we get through all 18 presentations within the right amount of time. I'll try to make minimal swap up time to make sure people come up, give their presentation, but it should be running on a very tight schedule. So I need those by Wednesday, at least the link. It can be completely empty, but I need that link by Wednesday so that I can put everything together. Okay, as it gets closer, ask me questions about that. So last time we were talking about animations. Let's just do a simple one here. There was a question that came up. I want to clarify. I want to make a cube in my world. I want to open up the animation screen. And because I have the cube selected, I can add a curve, make a new animation. Let's do the position of that cube. This is where we were last time, making animations, making things move around. So that cube position has x, y, z coordinates. We're going to say after, let's say 2 seconds, I want it to be back where it started at 0, 0, 0. But in the meantime, after 1 second, let's change it to 2, 3, -4. That's what was happening before. We can pick our object, make an animation over time, select it, and change those coordinates. And if we show it in the world here, it's moving up and down, back and forth. That's very nice. But there is this other perspective where we can look not just at the exact coordinates and what time they are, but the curves that are created. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Zoom out this way, zoom in this way. Ah, where did it go? We can play with those curves and change them however we want them to go. This is really cool. It's actually making splines in the background. So if I wanted to, I could stick in another point here. Start manipulating my curve back and forth for that x coordinate. But if it's a looping kind of animation, we have a strange discontinuity here at the end. Now, a really nice thing, I am broadcasting these lectures on Twitch. I think I told you before, one of my former students, because I set up my Twitter account to tweet when I Twitch, is watching our lectures. And he was watching last time and saying, hey, I know how to fix this strange problem over here. And I wasn't watching the chat. I was like, oh no. So he contacted me later. He's like, I wanted to help rescue you at this point because he uses Unity. He works at Moombot Studios. And he was saying, I know how to fix this. So it's really cool what you can do. With this point, you can right click on it and it brings up a couple more options. You are in control of the tangents of this curve. Those tangents are what's really being understood through the interpolation of those splines. You're in charge of them all. So I want to make that tangent free. I can keep that point the same and play with the tangent. So now I can make it look like a really smooth animation. Whoa, okay, it's flying way too far. But let's shrink this down a little bit more. And when I do that, this curve changes, so I've got to change this tangent line as well to give it a nice smooth curve. Instead of being herky-jerky right here at the end, you're in charge. You're pretty much in charge of the tangents at all those lines. You could say, I really want this one to look funky. I want it to be weird. You don't really want to do that, but you can. Tangents are more for you to make things smoother when they're not automatically put together smooth. Okay, so any questions about that? Okay, nice shout out to Jackson Blankstein for helping me out with that. Yes. Okay, so those were animations. We saw those last time, and then I said, oh, okay, go make this Marble Mania thing. I think that was a little too much to say to do it by Friday. I want you to do it by Tuesday. I'm going to add a couple more things today. But before we do that, I spent some time last night late looking over Newton's cradles. And we have things to fix on Newton's cradles, as you probably know. So I'm going to load up some Newton's cradles and just try to talk us through anonymously. You don't have to say who did what, but I'll bring them up and say, this is what people did for Newton's cradles. What worked, what didn't, how can we make these better? Because I'm going to give you a chance to resubmit those. They didn't all look like what I was hoping that you would understand with physics. So spend a little bit more time on those. Let's go find them. Okay. Open something. Downloads. Here's the Newton's Cradles. They're all anonymized. Don't save that. Here we go. Open up a Newton's Cradle. Not bad. Not bad. Very nice. I would want to redirect the camera angle. It's a little bit harder to see everything, but otherwise this is a good example of a Newton's Cradle. Things are bouncing back and forth. Looks like the physics materials are coming together. Good work on that one. Open other. Find them again. Let's just see them. These are fun to look at. You might say, oh God, no. But they're interesting. Again, not bad. Physics are working well. It has a strange bounce. I don't know why. Here it comes. Boom. I don't know what's causing that. Did anybody else encounter this problem with bouncing stuff? How did you fix this problem?
I think there's like two ways you can do it. You can lower the middle ball's hinge height to be about 2 less than the outer balls. And then another way to do it is increase the mass, I think, of the 3 inner balls.
So all of these have a mass of 5, I think. And if they're all the same mass, it's okay. You want to increase the mass of the outer, but it's that jump up and down that's really strange.
I had some problems when I tried to make the mass higher than 1, where my hinges would be like springy, and the ball would sometimes like spring low because it was too heavy for the hinge or something. I don't know.
The larger the mass, the more force is going to be applied to things.
Yeah.
And there is usually a part of the joints where it says, if there's too much force, I will break. What is my limit? You can set that here, and so physics is probably reacting to that. It's not going to break it, but it is doing something strange.
Are you talking about like in the beginning where it kind of like twitches there?
The twitching, right here, it comes up.
Yeah, I don't
Boink.
think that's...
What is that boink?
Can you click the center sphere real quick? And then go to the hitbox number, or like how large the hitbox is.
The hitbox.
The sphere collider.
The sphere collider.
Have a radius.
Okay.
And then if you scroll into that sphere, we can continue to like decrease and increase it and see where the actual hitbox is.
Because the radius 6, 7.
Because whenever that happened to me, it's because it was touching the other balls before they should have been, kind of thing.
So right, the radius scales with the ball itself. This collision collider says, when should I actually react to other things? The mesh is there, but you can actually change this to say, I have a little bubble around me. And it's going to be helpful when we're putting in more complicated characters and models to put a mesh collider that is not an exact match to your person. Because then you have 500 triangles that are trying to detect collisions. You just put a box around yourself or put a bubble around your head, and it works. So you can actually change this sphere collider to make it bigger or smaller. Still bounces. Doesn't seem to be connected to anything else, but that's something we need to sort of think about and work on. I don't know why. Let's look at some more here. Newton's Cradles. There's the cradle. That one?